Before I introduce the next act, let's please try to remember it's a 2-drink minimum, non-negotiable. But first, before the next act, I have a tweet from Donald Trump himself. Thank you. I didn't even say it. Juliana, I get along great with the Wops. Too bad she's so misguided. Fake comedy, sad. I did not say that, he did. Oh, coming up next, he's a writer and comedian, head writer for the Juliana Furlano Show, and writer for Politipod, a political comedy podcast. Anthony Mustacchio.
Yo, I like to start these things like when I get on stage, I like to be really happy. But unfortunately, that's not the case right now. Because right before I came on stage, I went to the bathroom. And someone in this room, someone who's in this room right now, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to embarrass him, came up to me, pulled out his phone, went to Donald Trump's Twitter, and said, "He's not really tweeting any of that." No shit! Hi everybody, thank you for being here. Welcome to the Looney Bin. I love the Looney Bin. Give it up for the Looney Bin. My absolute favorite comedy club on Staten Island. Who cares that it's a storage room in a bowling alley? Who cares that Dane Cook's on the wall? It still feels legit. Who cares that Don Rickles' name is still spelled wrong after 6 years? Still good, I like it. We're all here together. Every liberal on Staten Island is in here right now. That is awesome. There are more people in here than there were at Donald Trump's inauguration. That is outstanding, folks. Speaking of Twitter, anyone follow Donald on Twitter? I can't because he blocked me. The Donald, I can actually say this. The President of the United States does not like me. I am in the same category as like Meryl Streep and facts and class. Isn't that a little weird? I think it's crazy that Donald Trump has me blocked on Twitter. Like this is your president. This is the guy with the thick skin, the guy with balls. He's the man. How's he gonna handle ISIS? He can't handle me. And who the hell am I? I'm a fucking nobody. So I don't know if you don't have to follow Trump on Twitter to know what he's tweeting because it's always the hot news story of the day. A couple weeks ago, Donald Trump had to delete a tweet because he spelled the word unprecedented, and he got taken down by a bunch of grammar Nazis. And he fucking stood up tall and he deleted the tweet. And I think that is awesome. It's nice to see Trump finally standing up to Nazis. Not the Nazis I would have started with, but grammar Nazis. Although, as I think they now like to be called, alt-writers. I don't give a fuck. I'm proud of that joke. Fuck you. Holy crap. Like Jay Miller said, social media has been absolutely ridiculous this entire election season. Just everything I've seen on Facebook, everything I've seen on Twitter, it finally reminds me why kids in junior high always said I'd be the kid to bring a gun to school. I finally get it. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. What else do I want to talk about? Anyone go to the Women's March? Right on. Stand strong with the women. In the last couple days, I've seen a lot of a couple females I know, Staten Islanders naturally, sharing this long copy and paste thing about how I'm a woman and I don't stand with the march. Did you know that in Saudi Arabia, women can't even drive and they have to keep themselves covered up? Yeah, that's really funny. Thanks for laughing. Did you know that in China and India, they literally kill baby girls? Did you know that in the Democratic Republic of Congo, that women are brutally raped and just left alone? And you know, that one had me a little weird. Like, why is it that in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the rapes there are brutal, as opposed to the rapes here that are just a fucking walk in the park? Like, I don't know why that had to be specified at all. But it's like, it's weird to see like women sharing that. Can you imagine talking to like a woman who actually believes that shit in public? So Becky, you going to the march on Saturday? No. Why not? Standing strong for women, feminism. Please, I don't need feminism. I am already as equal as men as it can be in this country. How do you figure? How do I figure? For starters, when I was born, I wasn't killed. What are you talking about? I never realized how low the bar is set for women. Like, there are definitely women in this country, probably most of them on Staten Island, driving down the highway right now thinking, don't have privilege. Look who's driving a car. I am right up there with men. The privilege is so weird. Men's privilege, you can go to Harvard. It's like women's privilege, you can go to the store in this country. That is fucking crazy. I never thought that in America, in my lifetime, because I thought it was old, in the past, that I'm a woman and I stand against, sexual assault. It's like a controversial political opinion. That shit blows my mind. Do you mind reading something? Speaking of women who keep getting shit thrown at them, Hillary. Anyone feel bad for Hillary? Yeah. This is Staten Island, all right. Yeah. It's weird that since the election, Hillary won the popular vote, and don't ever forget that. Remind Trump supporters and Trump that they are the minority, because there's nothing straight old white men hate more than being called the minority. But it's really weird that since the election, all I've seen is, well, Hillary didn't win New York and California, she wouldn't have won the popular vote. And? You're right. So, you have a basic concept of first grade math. Congratulations. I don't get the argument. Like, if I have 8 slices of pizza and I take away 4, there's 4. Yeah. Doesn't mean anything, but it's right. If you take away Trump's 304 electoral votes, he's not the president. Like, say math. I don't understand the argument. It's absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, that's 304 electoral votes. One for every Trump business that's gone under. So Ivanka Trump is in the First Lady's office. Isn't that a little weird? Am I the only one that thinks that it's weird? Is no one on my side on that? Is it weird that in like 2 months she'll probably be in the First Lady's bed? Absolutely. So Staten Island, we're all members of the borough that overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. So it makes you feel a little dirty, right? Like, no matter how much you scrub, you'll never be clean. We're the red borough. That's why everyone calls Staten Island the asshole of New York. We're red and we stink and we don't know what's going on. Staten Island, I like to refer to Staten Island as the Texas of New York City. And not just because we're South, and not just because we voting criminals, and not just because half of us are rednecks. Staten Island is the Texas of New York because everything here is bigger. If you got it, we got it bigger, and we like to fucking brag about it. You got a dump? Fuck that. We had the biggest dump in the world. You could have seen it from space. Kind of like that. You think Jersey has assholes? We had Vinny from the Jersey Shore. What are you talking about? Think Coney Island has an impressive Ferris wheel? We're building the biggest Ferris wheel of all fucking time. For some reason. I don't know why. Don't know why we're doing that. Am I going to ride it? No. Am I going to brag about it? You fucking bet. I never thought I'd ever say these words in any context but Staten Island pride. So I'm a millennial, and I was born in the 90s. Yeah, where are my millennials at? Right on, half the room. I'm a millennial in that I'm very much like George W. Bush, in that I've lived through both Bush presidencies, and I didn't know what was going on during either of them. And I can't compare this Trump thing to anything I've ever seen in American politics before, because I haven't seen that much. I barely remember Bush. I just really paid attention to Obama, and now I gotta watch this fucking dumpster fire. So, I've compared this. I can't compare it to anything I've seen in politics, but I've compared it to what I've seen in Disney movies. Now, what I thought I saw in watching Trump take over the White House was watching Scar and the Hyenas take over the Pride Rock and the Lion King. It kind of made sense if you take away the fact that, Scar was pretty intelligent, he was cunning, he was charming, he had nice hair. And now I realize that's not actually what I'm watching. I'm watching Jafar become a genie at the end of Aladdin. He's got all the power, and now I don't think he wants it. Which makes sense, and it makes sense that he's the genie because A, his bracelets are gold, and it's hilarious because his lamp is black. I'm sure he wouldn't care for that. So, this week, Donald Trump, as his first week of presidency, it's been 1 week, we survived. Kudos to us for not committing suicide. So far, he's introduced a couple terrible pieces of legislation, two of which I guess I can kind of be on board with if we tweak them a little. One, he wants to release a newsletter every week of crimes committed by immigrants and publish who those immigrants are. Not a fan of it. And two, he wants to investigate voter fraud that didn't happen, despite the fact that members of his family and his administration are registered in 2 states, which I guess he's okay with because, you know, white. But I'm against that. I don't think that's true because that's a waste of money, and voter fraud is basically been proved to be fucking non-existent. But I'm okay with it if we combine them for one reason. We investigate the states, the swing states, and we publish a list of everyone who voted for Harambe. Because I have a couple problems with those fucking people. 15,000 votes for a fucking gorilla. The biggest shot he's had since May. Rest in peace, Harambe. So, before I bail out of here, just want to close on a little more emotional note. I don't know if any of you know this, but I am pretty religious. My family's laughing at me because they don't think it's true, but it is. And in these times of woe and misery on the planet, every night I like to say a little prayer. And because we're going to get out here a little late tonight, I'd like to do my prayer now. So if you'd all give me a second, join me. Dear Lord, the Patriots again? Really? What the fuck, dude? I thought we made a bet. But, besides that, Lord, I don't know if you're listening. I don't even know if you're there. I don't know if you're ignoring us or not paying attention, or if this is just a cog in a large machine for a better plan. Doesn't look like it, but in these trying times, in a country torn in twain by, what the fuck did I just say? Torn apart. Don't mind me, I've been up since 6 a.m. Torn apart by race, gender, class. It's a mess out there. And as I watch this country burn down, I just want to say thank you for making me a straight white guy. You really let me hit the jackpot on that. I am one of the least qualified individuals walking around today, but thanks to you, I'm also one of the most privileged. So thank you for that. Really helped me out. Let's talk about the Rangers, but I'll get you next time. Amen. Oh, it's so much better than women. Thank you so fucking much. Amen. And that was my prayer. And, yeah, fuck Donald Trump. That's all I got.